Am I the a-hole for testifying against my brother in a custody case after he abandoned his child? I, 25 female, have an older brother, 28 male. Growing up, my mom spoiled him a lot and still has a habit of excusing his behavior because that's her son. This situation has completely fractured my family, and now I'm being told I'm a terrible sister. My brother was in a long-term relationship with his ex-girlfriend, Lena, 27 female. They have a son together who is now 5. Lena and I became very close during their relationship, and even after they broke up, I stayed involved in my nephew's life. I babysit, help with school stuff, and I'm basically one of his safe adults. When my nephew was around 2, my brother left. Not just emotionally, he abandoned them. He moved out, stopped helping financially, barely called, and eventually cut contact entirely after getting involved with another woman. Lena struggled a lot during that time, but she stepped up and did everything for their child on her own. My brother never paid consistent child support and would disappear for months at a time. Fast forward to last year. My brother suddenly reappears, saying he misses his son and wants to be involved again. However, his first move wasn't apologizing or easing back in. He was demanding Lena's current address and threatening legal action. Lena had moved for safety and stability and didn't want him showing up unannounced, so she asked me not to give it out. When my brother asked me for her address, I refused. I told him that if he wanted to see his son, he needed to go through proper legal channels and rebuild trust. He accused me of choosing his ex over him and said I was betraying family. Eventually, he found her address on his own and immediately filed for custody, asking for far more than he'd ever been involved enough to handle. The case went to court, and I was asked to testify. I told the truth, that he had been absent for years, that Lena was the primary and consistent parent, and that my brother only reappeared after starting a new relationship and wanting to look like a family man. The judge ruled against him. He didn't lose all rights, but he did not get the custody arrangement he wanted. Now my brother is furious with me. He says I should have lied, or at least kept my mouth shut because we're siblings. My mom agrees with him and keeps telling me I ruined his chance to start over and be a better father. She says family loyalty should come before outsiders, even when kids are involved. I don't feel guilty for telling the truth, especially when my nephew's stability was on the line, but being iced out by my mom and constantly attacked by my brother is wearing me down. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to help my brother and testifying against him in court? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You did stick by family, your nephew. Thank you. I really love this. My nephew is as much my family as he is, and I choose to protect him. Not only family, but a child. And the well-being of a child family member trumps an adult every single time. Also, I'm presuming the court awarded him some sort of parenting time. He could still go back to court to ask for more if he actually steps up and is involved in the interim. I would remind them that your nephew is your family, and as a child, his needs take priority over your brother's wants, and that the door isn't closed. The ball is in his court. He just needs to step up and make the most of the parenting time that is awarded and be an active present father. That may potentially open the door for more, and if he can't even do that, then just proves you made the right decision. Your mother is an a-hole, and the apple didn't fall far from the a-hole tree when it comes to your brother. The child's well-being always comes first. Ask your mom. If family's so important, why did brother abandon his child for years? I'm pretty sure your mother raised your brother to think he was immune to the consequences of his own actions, which is why he's such a gaping a-hole now. Thank you for doing the right thing and standing by your nephew. Take whatever crap rains down from your mother and brother as a badge of honor. If people like that hate you, you're doing something right. Not the a-hole. Exactly what I'm saying. It's okay for him to abandon his own blood, but he wants family loyalty? I'll never be involved in that. Next story. Am I the a-hole for deciding to live with my dad because I'm tired of fighting with mom and the expectation to always make things fair or save experiences for my half-siblings? My parents had me, 16 female while they were in college, and they broke up before I was even born. Both have played an active role in my life. They shared custody of me, 50-50 until a few months ago, when I decided I wanted to live with my dad and pull back from my mom and my step family. For years, my mom and I fought during about 90% of the weeks I was with her. I hated sharing a room with two of my half-sisters, and my mom hated that I hated sharing. She would tell me that lots of kids share rooms, and she'd ask me why I was fine with sleepovers at my friends' houses, but not with sharing a room with my half-sisters. We'd fight about how my dad would buy me things and I'd keep them at his house, instead of bringing them to share with my half-siblings. We'd fight if I went anywhere with my dad, without either A, inviting my half-siblings along, or B, checking to see if my mom and stepdad wanted to take us all there first. Even a trip to the beach was a huge deal. She'd always say I should make sure things were fair between me and my half-siblings. In the last 4 years, those fights got worse because my dad would take me and my friends places for my birthday. This year it was Aquatica, and my mom was pissed that my half-siblings weren't invited but my friends were. I didn't want my half-siblings there. I wanted my friends. My half-siblings would have been a burden that day. Because they're younger than me and my friends, they're not my dad's kids, and he doesn't have any kind of relationship with them. It would have been miserable trying to figure out what to do with them. And it was meant to be my birthday. The final fight was when I bought a room divider so I could have privacy in the room at my mom's house. She went nuts and told me I should have asked for permission and found out if my half-sisters were okay with it first. I told her I deserved privacy, and she told me I didn't deserve it when I act like it's torture to be in the same room as my half-sisters in the first place. She said it was meant to make us closer and that I was trying to wall them off. She called me a brat and told me she knew what my dad's house was like and how selfish I am to hoard so much stuff there. She didn't say how she knew, but she was pissed enough to tell me I was going to be grounded for a month for being such a brat. I told her I was done and was going to live with my dad. She told me I couldn't and that it would disrupt the household too much if I moved out for good. I told her it was going to happen eventually because I'm not going to share a room with kids when I'm 18. My parents already had it in their court order that I could choose where to live once I turned 16. Now I'm glad to live with my dad full-time. I've seen my mom 3 times in the last 4 months. I don't go to her house overnight, and the one time I did go over for dinner, I left before it was served and told her I wasn't going back. She's mad at me and told me I'm making childish decisions with my teenage brain and destroying so many of my relationships with it. I told her I don't care, because I don't, which pissed her off even more. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. How does she expect you to become closer with your half-siblings when she's doing everything within her willpower to do the opposite of what you're telling her would help? She's ignoring boundaries. She can't expect you to take this responsibility, nor your father. They're not his kids. The comment about why you're friends but not your half-siblings? You choose your friends and not your family. What does your dad think of all of this? My dad doesn't talk to me about his thoughts or feelings on this. I hope he does when I'm over 18. But he always tries to live by the don't say negative stuff about the other parent or other family. Your dad's a good guy. I'm glad you have him. I see it like this. 1. Your mom put the entire responsibility of blending the family on you and emotionally abuses you when somehow you don't magically make it work. 2. It almost feels like your mom is jealous of your dad's life and she vents out her frustrations on you. 3. If I am correct in what I said in the previous point, it means that she feels jealous of you and angry at you because you have access to things she cannot have. It's like she detests you because your dad can afford to buy you stuff and give you your own room while she can't. And she hates the fact that instead of glorifying her martyrdom to give you anything, you chose your dad. Family therapy is needed, and your mom needs personal therapy as well. Not the a-hole. Question: do you even have a relationship with your half-sisters? I think my mom is jealous, but I think she's also really territorial and believes she's more important because she's the mom, and my dad is just my dad. She even told me before she gave me a new dad and 2-parent home with siblings, so she couldn't understand me being closer to my dad. I don't really have a relationship with my half-siblings outside what my mom tried to make it. We had very different experiences and lives, and it shows in a lot of stuff. So it's almost as if proving to your dad that you prefer her and her new family over him is far more important to her than just being there for you and caring for you. It's more important for her to have you like a trophy than to love and support you. Could you elaborate on those differences? I am guessing that before your mom met your stepdad, her life, and thus by extension yours, was harsher. I have always known two homes. They only ever knew one. I saw my mom go from doing okay to struggling because she and my stepdad had 6 kids together, and I don't think they could afford all those kids. While at Dad's house, I had a way easier life. Mom has always been a lot easier on them, and because of that, they never had the same experiences with her. I feel like my whole relationship with Mom has been the two of us fighting. My half-siblings never had experience with having a step-parent before. But on the flip side of that, my stepdad has a son with an ex. He lived with them for years, and only like a year or 2 ago did his mom get custody of him full-time and they lost him. They grieved him, but I was never close to him, so it wasn't a huge deal for me. I also learned to do stuff that my half-siblings never did. I can cook and bake thanks to my dad and my paternal grandparents. I always had chores so I can keep things from going crazy. I don't lose stuff as easily as they do either. There are other things too. My dad is more involved than their dad day to day. My dad helps with homework and makes time for me. My stepdad makes time for them on weekends, but he's never around for homework or bedtime routines. I also know what it's like to miss out on stuff because one parent, Mom, is being difficult, and in a divorce situation, they have to both consent to stuff. Their dad can overrule Mom, or Mom can overrule their dad. And they might fight, but it's not something that would go to court. Last story. Am I the a-hole for using a therapy to tell my mom I don't respect her or her husband, and I don't want to work on our relationship? My parents were married for 12 years when my dad died. I was 6 then, and now I'm 17. 18 months after my dad died, my mom told me she was dating someone, and a little more than 2 years after he died, she introduced me to her now husband. He would come over to our house, and he always expressed discomfort with the family photos and photos of my dad that we had at home. I wasn't all that excited to meet him already, but that made it worse. He knew I wasn't exactly happy that he was there, so it was awkward, and he told me he thought I needed a dad and that he'd work on making that happen. My mom asked me what I thought, and I told her what I didn't like. One of those things was that he wasn't my dad, and another was his issues with the photos and memories of my dad. She focused on the he's not dad part and told me he could still be a good addition. 6 months after I met him, she moved him in with us. Before he moved in, he told my mom and me that he wanted the photos and memories of my dad taken down. We had some of my dad's trophies on display and a couple of things he made that were really important to him and to me. My mom said of course, and even though I cried and told her I didn't want them all gone, she took them all down. Once that happened, I lost respect for my mom, and I basically decided I would never respect her husband. My mom didn't realize it at the time, but she has since acknowledged that she felt me pull away from her when he moved in. When my mom and her husband got married, he wanted to adopt me, change my last name, and start it all off with a father and daughter dance, which I refused to do with him. On their wedding day, he decided to announce it and put me on the spot, but I refused to go to him and even ran out of the reception hall. I kicked up a fuss about the adoption too, and it never happened. I ended up hoarding my dad's stuff in my room and his face was all over my walls, which he hated. My mom tried to put a stop to it, but I told her that if my dad couldn't be in the rest of the house, then my room was my home now. My mom and her husband have kids together, and I've checked out of the family. I've never put in any effort to make us a happy family. The lack of respect was clear in some ways, because I never ask her husband for permission for anything or go to him. And I tell everyone he's not my dad. I also sometimes use my mom's first name, don't confide in her, and keep things from her because I don't want her involved. 4 months ago, my mom and I started going to therapy at her insistence. She has been saying this whole time that she wants to save our relationship, and she has outlined all the issues as she sees them, while I've said very little. Then last week, I decided to put it all out there. I told her I had no respect for her husband, that he wasn't worthy of my respect when he wanted my dad boxed up and thrown away, and was too weak and cowardly to deal with the fact that she had a past. And I had a dad who wasn't him. I told her I lost respect for her when she agreed to remove my dad from our home. She interrupted and said he deserved to be comfortable. And then she said my dad wasn't his family, and it would be weird for him to live with the memory of a stranger all over the place. I argued that he had photos of his dead loved ones on the wall and I had to live with them, even though they meant nothing to me. I told her that was a lame argument. She said my half-siblings' dead relatives deserved to be on the wall, and I replied, "But not my dead dad?" I told her I didn't want to work on our relationship. I admitted I hadn't put any effort into fixing it, and that I wouldn't. I told her that all I could see when I looked at her was her giving in to some weak-ass dude and removing her late husband and the dad of her oldest child from our home. Then I told her it wasn't my home. It was her husband's home, since his comfort came first, and that there was no going back from that. I also added that I had no love for her husband either, and that I didn't like him, but that I did love her. And sometimes I hated myself for still loving her. My mom ended up breaking down and saying she wanted me to use therapy to fix us, not to try to make her feel bad or hated by me. Her husband was angry when she told him what happened, and he asked me if I was proud of myself for making my mom cry. I told him to ask himself if he was proud of making a little girl who lost her dad cry, and if my mom was proud of her part in it too. My mom heard my response and cried more, because she realized I was serious about not wanting to fix our relationship, even though she wants me to want it. She still wants to try and all that. Am I the a-hole? Is that your dad's home or your mom's home? Check also how or what you inherited, if at all anything. It's both, and after he died, it became mom's 100%, because dad didn't leave me a share. Instead, he left me money. There is a bank account that my dad put some money into for me that she has control of, but I can see. My plan is to withdraw it all after my birthday and add it to an account she can never access. Not the a-hole. You need to move out as soon as you're able and leave them behind, and try also to let your hurt remain with them. I don't blame you one bit for feeling the way you do, but just try to let it go once you're out of the situation. When you get your own place, put your dad's picture up on your wall and forget them. Good luck. I have savings to help me get out of here after I turn 18, and I work part-time and can work full-time after my birthday or graduation if I want. Make absolutely sure that your personal documents are out of the house. Birth certificate, social security card, etc. Get them to a safe place. Ideally a safe deposit box at the bank, but a trusted friend's house is okay too. Go talk to your bank. Advise them that you have grave concerns that your mother or stepfather will attempt to get into your account, and make absolutely sure their names are listed as "Do Not Engage." If you can hang on until you're 18, fine. If not, file for emancipation. I wish you all the best. If you do need support, there's a sub here called Emergency Aunties. Come talk to us anytime you need us.